This is a Sports Catastrophe production. Hey there, how the hell does Jeff Cutter Diamond welcome you to another Sports Catastrophe birthday boy. There's no on the stage today, so this is the only video you'll get today. Anyhow, the birthday boy today is a commentator who's 61 years old. He was named one of the 50 greatest NBA players and one of the greatest 75 players ever. 7-time NBA All-Star, 3-time NBA champion, and the Finals MVP for the Lakers in 1988. He played for North Carolina and was actually a teammate of Michael Jordan, strange enough. He is James Worthy. James Worthy graduated from high school and then went to the University of North Carolina. Yes, that North Carolina. He was part of the NCAA runner-up squad for North Carolina as they lost to Indiana. He starred alongside Al Wood and Sam Perkins. Perkins would also be a teammate of his with the Lakers. As a junior, he was the leading scorer of the team that won the 1982 NCAA championships in New Orleans. But of course, everyone knows Michael Jordan made the winning shot. But James Worthy actually ended up a hero too, as Fred Brown of the Georgetown Hoyas was trying to pass it to Sleepy Floyd, but unconsciously threw it right to James Worthy. Worthy did not sink any of his free throws, but the North Carolina Tar Heels still won and all that. And North Carolina survived over Georgetown. Worthy decided to forego his senior year and entered the NBA draft. He completed his degrees by summer school and was picked first overall by the LA Lakers. A lot of people were like, wait, the Lakers were good in the 80s, so how come they got the number one pick? Well, Cleveland traded it to the Lakers in 1979 in exchange for John Ford and all that. Of course, that usually does guarantee you the number one pick, in a sense. But this was before the draft lottery, so because of that, the Lakers got the Cavs pick. So the worst teams in the two conferences had a coin flip to decide who got the number one pick. The Lakers would flip against the San Diego Clippers, who were the second worst team and the worst team in the Western Conference. Lakers won the flip, and they got James Worthy. You could also blame owner Ted Stepien of the Cavaliers, as he wanted to trade draft picks for players now. He was not really a good owner. And the NBA stepped in with the Ted Stepien rule that meant that teams could not trade their first round picks in consecutive seasons. Or something like that. I can't remember. Anyway, in 1982, he started out with the Lakers. He was a lanky small forward and helped the Lakers out pretty well. He thrived in the Showtime offense and all that. He could do his Statue of Liberty dunks or swooping finger rolls. He was a good post player and all that. Unfortunately, his rookie year ended when he broke his leg against the Phoenix Suns. He could not play the rest of the season and the playoffs, and his loss of presence may have been why the Sixers won the 1983 title. But Worthy would be back and very healthy and all that. Worthy did make a terrible pass in Game 2 that sunk them. Boston won in 7 games, though. In 1985, Showtime got through and dominated and beat the Boston Garden and all that. Worthy actually never wore goggles until he suffered a scratch cornea against the Jazz, and he would wear them for the rest of his career. That's why you know James Worthy is the guy with the goggles, unless you're a career of Abdul-Jabbar fan. But anyhow, the Lakers looked pretty good in '86. It looked like he was going to Worthy and his team were going to get to the finals, but somehow Houston beat them in 5 games. James Worthy helped the Lakers win 65 games in 1987, taking down the Celtics in the playoffs and all that. Worthy excelled in the 1988 playoffs, leading the Lakers in scoring in those playoffs. Scored 22 points per game against the Pistons in a Game 7 victory. He would put up a 36 points, 16 assists, 10 rebound triple-double in Game 7 to help the Lakers beat the Pistons. The Lakers wanted to go for a three-peat, but lost to the Pistons in the playoffs and all that. They got swept in 4 games. Worthy was happy in '91 when former teammate Sam Perkins was acquired by the Lakers at center. So Worthy and Perkins would do well. Unfortunately, Worthy would actually not be doing too well in the finals. He suffered an ankle sprain in Game 5 of the conference finals against Portland, and Worthy just couldn't play it his best and all that, and couldn't play in the Game 5. Worthy tried his best, but unfortunately he would have a season-ending knee injury in 1992 that robbed him of a lot of things. In '94, he decided to call it quits. He was known as Big Game James for how he would step up in the playoffs and all that. Number 42 is obviously retired by the Lakers. Why wouldn't it be? And he got into the Basketball Hall of Fame in 2003. So Worthy, 926 games in his career, 17.6 points per game, 5.1 rebounds per game, but 3 titles, 85, 87, 88. In 143 playoff games, he was with the Lakers, made the playoffs every year from 1984 to 1993, except for 92. With 21.1 points per game, 5.2 rebounds per game. Worthy was actually in Star Trek Next Generation as the Klingon Coral, being the tallest Klingon around. And he even was on Everybody Loves Raymond and Webster. Worthy was actually married to somebody named Angela, but had 2 daughters, but they divorced in 1986. So James Worthy did his playoff scoring and all that, and that's why he's like one of the best Lakers of all time. Fight me on it. Anyway, I'm Jeff Diamond. I do.